Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our summer reading book recommendations. Today's list is 6 audiobooks that you can borrow from the school library right now. So these are all different genres and types of books, but they're all audiobooks that you can go to our website, go in the catalog, and download the audiobook and listen to it right on your iPad. So if you are someone who likes to listen to books, this list is for you. And if you're someone who's never tried it, I highly recommend it because a lot of times people find that they don't love to read books, but it turns out they really like audiobooks. So it's definitely worth a shot. So here are 6 books that you can listen to. Our first recommendation is called Dear Martin by Nick Stone. It's about a teenager named Justice McAllister who always looks to the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to help him navigate the way that he's treated in the world. He knows he's treated unfairly because of the color of his skin, and he even starts a journal of letters to Dr. King to try to figure out, why being black and the color of his skin seems to matter more than the things he does and accomplishes. But the older he gets, the more he feels like Dr. King's methods aren't working for him. And eventually, he and his best friend have a run in with an off duty police officer, and things only get worse. So, this is definitely relevant to all the things we're seeing going on in our country today, and just a really powerful book, and one that is great to listen to. The Castle in the Mist by Amy Efron is our next suggestion. This is a fantasy book, so if you like fantasy, this one could be for you. It's about siblings. Tess and her brother get sent to visit their aunt in the English countryside for the summer, and it's very boring. There's nothing going on. They discover this key that unlocks a gate that doesn't seem to be guarding anything. There's nothing behind it. Um, but they realize that the gate is actually a lot more than it seems. And there's a whole world beyond there that makes their summer very interesting. So if you like fantasy, if you like magic, secret world, like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or something like that, this book is definitely a good recommendation for you. Our next suggestion is Refugee by Alan Gratz. So this book is interesting because it follows 3 different children in 3 different places at 3 different times in history. They're all refugees, and they're all fleeing their homes for one reason or another. So in 1940s Germany, you have Joseph and his family trying to flee from the Nazis. In 1994 in Cuba, you have Isabel and her family trying to make it from Cuba to the United States. And then in 2015, you have Mahmoud and his family trying to flee Syria. So the great thing about this audiobook is that each chapter is told from the perspective of a different one of these children, and there are 3 different narrators, 3 different voices to help you sort it out. So it works out really well. And this book is just all about showing you that, these 3 kids in 3 different times from 3 different places are all really suffering the same way, missing their home the same way. And it's pretty eye opening. Our next audiobook recommendation is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This book also has 2 narrators because each alternating chapter is told by either Eleanor or Park, who are the main characters. This is sort of like a realistic romance type book. Eleanor and Park are both kind of misfits at their school, and they end up falling for each other. But they know that they're in high school. They know that those relationships hardly ever last. And yet they can't help but try to make it work. So if you like realistic fiction, if you like romances, this book could definitely be for you. Our next suggestion is The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. So if you like mysteries and you've never read this one, you definitely should. This is a kind of a classic murder mystery. It's also nice and short, so it's quick to listen to. This book is about 16 people who've been chosen to play a game. And the winner of the game will win the fortune of the millionaire Samuel Westing, who has been murdered. But it's also possible that the game will reveal which one of those 16 people is the murderer. So if you like to try to figure out mysteries, this is definitely a great book for you. And our last audiobook is called The Lions of Little Rock. It's by Kristen Levine. It takes place in 1958 in segregated Little Rock. Marley has just started middle school and she makes friends with a new girl named Liz. They get along really well, and Marley's really glad to have her, but Liz disappears from school one day without saying goodbye, and people start saying that Liz was passing as white, which means she's actually black, but she was light skinned enough to what they call pass and go to a white school during this segregation period. And now Marley is trying to figure out how she's going to get her friend back because, of course, we know during segregation, these two would never have really been allowed to be friends at all. This is a great book if you like historical fiction or realistic fiction, and if you want kind of a perspective on segregation as it relates to a lot of the things that are going on in the world today. So that's it for our audiobook recommendations. If you want to listen to more audiobooks, you can use your public library card and go to gcls.org. That's the Gloucester County Library System website. They have hundreds of ebooks and audiobooks that you can access right from home. So if you listen to one of our audiobooks and decide that you really like it, you can go find a ton more at the Gloucester County website. And if you don't have a library card yet, you can also go to their website and apply for a temporary card until they are open once again. So that is it for today. We will have another suggested reading list for tomorrow. I hope you guys are all doing well and have a great day, Clippers.